What's going on, guys? Welcome to this very boring vlog that is going to be entirely in my bedroom because got the Rona. Made it a year and a half, went unscathed, and I ended up testing positive on Friday for the virus. And I don't want this vlog to turn into like some weird political thing, and like if you have your thoughts on coronavirus, like just save them to yourself. I don't really care. But yeah, long story short, last week started running a fever Tuesday and Wednesday and felt really shitty. We were super achy, super fatigued. And I was like, like probably side effects from the vaccine, like whatever, like no big deal, just brush it off. And so like I was taking it easy, not really going out in public because I was like, I feel like crap, I'm not gonna do anything. Thursday rolls around, fever went away, but it was still very achy and still achy and like fatigued. And then I started developing like this dry cough. So I was like, weird, like that's very odd. Then Friday, still had a cough, still a little achy and fatigued. So I was like, fuck it, let's just go get a test. Let's just see, just to be safe, so that way, at least if I don't have it, I could still go to the gym. It's gonna suck, but at least I could lift and train, and I know I won't be infecting other people. So go to the doc, and they're like, yeah, no, you have the Rona, man. And they called me like literally 2 minutes as I'm driving back from urgent care. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I got in my car and started driving, and like 3 minutes later, like, you have it. I was like, oh fuck. So yeah, and like people were like, oh, it's probably just like from the vaccine, that's why you tested positive. But no, like I lost my smell and taste Friday evening. I made like this big batch of cinnamon rolls because I was like, fuck, I'm not hungry right now. I need to keep my weight on for my meet. Like I know I'm gonna lose strength throughout this ordeal. Like I need to get in calories, and I make this big batch of cinnamon rolls, and I literally can't taste them. And I was like, what is the point? What is the point of eating if you can't taste? So that's been like I think one of the biggest struggles, and I'm actually feeling better now. I still have a cough. I still feel a little fatigued, and you know what's funny is like the hardest part right now is like this brain fog. Like I'm trying to like write and stuff and do stuff for work, and like my brain is just like, nah man, like you're not doing that right now. Like it's working better, but like the last week has been like really tough from a brain fog perspective. So yeah, what we're gonna do today is I'm going to bring you guys through a little workout that I'm doing in my room because I'm trying my best not to infect Nikki. She tested negative, and whether she had it before or not, we don't know, but we're trying to mitigate as much risk as possible. So I'm gonna bring you guys through a workout. It's just 5 exercises, just to kind of like do some maintenance work and stuff. And also this is the first time I have externally reloaded my body in a few days. And then I wanna talk about, after that, the stress and anxiety that is coming along with this whole ordeal and being kind of stuck in my room for 10 days while I'm literally like 8 weeks out from a meet. Like I am feeling the fucking pressure there, and like the fact that I'm not hungry, it's like, oh man, it's a lot. But let's get to the workout and then we'll talk about that. All right, so the first exercise we're gonna be doing is a Bulgarian split squat with the band around the body. And we're gonna start with a contralateral load and then go to a bilateral load, doing 4 sets through. I already did 1 as a warm-up. I'm like pretty winded from it, but this is a variation I learned from Kevin Oak when training with him when I was in New York. Shout out to Kevin, hope you're well, dude. But what you're gonna do, take the band, cross the body, put it under the midfoot of the grounded leg. In this one, we're gonna take a contralateral load, so we're loading the offset side of the body, going into our normal Bulgarian stance. And the reason I love this one personally is as you work to stand back up, you have to really force yourself to work through that band tension. So it's like a nice little sneaky way to add a little bit of additional resistance towards the top of the movement. All right, the next exercise is going to be a single leg RDL variation. Pat Davidson is the one who first popularized this variation, took it from him. We'll be collabing with Pat when I'm in New York in the next few weeks, so excited for that. But this movement is an absolute burner. Big things to think about here are knuckles, sternum, nose, over the toe that is planted on the ground, and we're gonna place this foot against the wall. Think about creating a nice little hip shift here, bringing this knee in, so then when we have our weight, keeping it in line. So our third exercise is going to be a gorilla row. Now, a couple things to think about with this movement that I'm trying to implement is I'm trying to create a nice level of tension through the posterior. So making sure that my glutes and hamstrings are active when grounding my legs and hips in this exercise. And then as I row, as opposed to just simply bringing up the dumbbell like most folks do, I'm thinking about actively pushing into the ground on the grounded kettlebell and rowing in a sense that is giving me a little bit of thoracic rotation. So this is kind of like a twofer, trying to get a lot of bang for my buck with these 5 exercises. So this is working on a little bit of rotation through the thoracic and the core musculature while rowing, but also giving me a little bit of a rowing benefit. The kettlebells aren't super heavy, so that's kind of a limiting factor, but we're going high rep here. And also kettlebells are uneven weight, so I'm just switching them. I'm doing 4 sets, 12 on each arm, but let's get into it. That was actually a pretty damn good workout. I got a little sweat going, and it didn't take too long. Plus, got a lot of bang for our buck for the amount of work we put in. Tomorrow, I'm gonna focus a bit more on hypertrophy focused aspects of training and focusing on very specific ranges of motion that will hopefully carry back over to my meet prep. My whole thing right now was like, my logic was like, okay, you're feeling better today, give your body more resources to recover. Don't obviously push it too hard or like put way too much demand on the body that's already stressed and probably very run down. So tomorrow we'll get a bit more specific with our training, but that was a decent home workout for 5 exercises. Took about 35 minutes total, so beautiful. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, I've been very angry and stressed, especially since I started feeling shitty on Tuesday. It's just kind of accumulated and got worse as time's gone, which sounds really stupid because like me isolating for 10 days is like such a small price to pay. And I think that's the bigger thing that now that I'm feeling better, I need to really remind myself of is the bigger picture and perspective here. It's like, it's a week and a half of training that I'm not putting all of my energy into. Like, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. Like, is it ideal for this meet? No, and especially because I'm annoyed that I was finally like in a really good swing of training. Everything was moving well, my body was feeling awesome, and now I've definitely lost a few pounds. Definitely gonna have to regain some of the strength that I've lost in that little time, but at the end of the day, like, we'll be fine. And you know what, this meet again, like, isn't necessarily like an all-time PR kind of meet. It's more so, let's get back into the right mindset when training, and also build, and then after this meet, find another meet to really fucking crush and move some numbers on. So that being said, if you're ever in a situation where you're not able to train, or if you feel like you're being limited, it's totally normal, I think, to feel stressed, to feel angry. And I'm obviously not an expert here, and I'm just talking out of my pure emotion, but it's normal. And it's like, it sucks when you're thinking like, oh, I'm losing all this time that I could be making gains, and like, fuck, it does suck, but it's such a little micro point in the grander scheme of our training, our life, of everything else, and also the people around us. But another thing that I've realized that has kind of facilitated the stress and anxiety and anger and shit is that I live my day-to-day on a not a healthy means, but a means where I feel most happy when I'm productive, when I feel like I'm contributing to YouTube, to my website, to the other businesses I have going on, and I just haven't like had the motivation or energy to do it. And I gotta remind myself that like it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Like, I'm not putting out a YouTube video every other day, and it's like it's okay. It's gonna be fine. After a week, when I'm normal, it'll resume, and this little tiny blip is not going to dictate like the growth of the businesses and like just what I'm trying to build. But it's hard, man. It's hard when you feel like if you're not working and being productive, like you're not bringing in income, and it's an interesting conundrum to be in. And I've never actually like been in this situation before, because I'm newly-ish an entrepreneur since last August. So I've always been used to like PTO when I'm sick, or just working from home and still getting paid like a good amount. So it's weird when you're not able to work and make income when you're working for yourself. But you know what, like, fucking life goes on. But guys, that all being said, this week the goal is to get done 3 shoes and 1 apparel review coming up. I have like this huge spreadsheet of ideas for videos that I want to tackle from various brands, etc. So that is on the to-do. I wanted to do something this weekend, but truthfully, like, I just wasn't feeling it, and I didn't want to force some shit just to feel like I have to put something out. Like, that's not the mindset that I think is productive for content creators. So expect that this week. Very sorry for the slower uploads and everything else. Appreciate you guys for being patient with me and dealing with this. If you've made it to the end of this blog, you are a real one, and I appreciate you. But I'll see you guys in the next one. The next video is going to be a Project Rock BSR versus Project Rock 2 versus Project Rock 3. I've got a lot of questions on the comparisons of those, so we're going to speak on them, dive into the details, but I'll see you guys in the next one.